Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFYLP, Transformers for Your Listening Pleasure, episode number 243, recorded April 22nd, 2017. I'm your host, Deron Land, a.k.a. Weird Wolf. Along with me this evening is Headmaster Don. Your mic is still muted. You're still muted.
Sorry, I got a issue.
There we go.
I got an issue.
You're still muted, Don. We can't hear you.
You got it.
Funny.
And Jack Brunner.
Hey, everybody.
And Rick Alvarez.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Satellite of Love.
Yes. Well, tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about some Transformers licensed goods. We'll be getting into that very shortly and kind of expound on what that is and some examples of it. I think Rick's got a little presentation put together of a history of some items that are involved with the Transformers franchise that aren't necessarily action figures or anything like that, but it's just little knickknacks. Hence the name of this episode, which is kind of a goofy little name, but it's what came to mind whenever I put it together. Also, I want to tell everybody to follow us on Twitter. If you want to find out any of the latest information or send us any messages, that's the quickest way to contact us is via Twitter at TFYLP. Also, I want to point people to our Facebook group, which is at facebook.com/groups/TFYLP. If you're listening to the audio download version of this episode, the presentation that Rick has put together, if you want to follow along and look at and pull it up on our Facebook group, you don't even have to be a member of it. I think you should be able to see it even if you're not a member, but we encourage you to join, and you can follow along with the episode and look at the images that he's referring to on there. That way you're not sitting there going, huh, what's he talking about? So it's an easy way to follow along. Also, down there on the video, if you love what we do and like to see us continue what we do each week, you can support us on our Patreon at patreon.com/TFYLP. Give us a little bit of money each month and help us keep the lights on around here. So, guys, any great stuff that you picked up in the last week or so?
Time to turn six shot. Obviously, transforming him at the moment.
Six shot. That looks like Sky Shadow.
Or no, not six shot. Wrong name.
Slap
Sky
you.
Shadow. Sorry about that.
Slap you. You're not a fan. You're not a true fan.
Yeah, that's six shots, 8th mode, Sky Shadow.
Yeah, I just had a quick thought, and I just immediately thought of six shot for some stupid reason. But
you had brain diarrhea.
Yeah. It's been a long day. So
it's been a long day.
I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week. I can't quite remember, but I did pick up Megatronia, and my Voltigus came in as well. So I got those. I haven't had a chance to transform them yet, but I did pick up those.
Awesome. What about you, Rick?
My Toys R Us is stupid, so they put out the last night figures early.
Proactive. You want?
They're proactive.
Sure. Anyway, so stupid Toys R Us put out the last night figures early, and stupid me looked at the price and went, yeah, I'll buy this. And now I'm just like, why? So $30 for a Voyager that's a repaint, and $20 for deluxes that are repaints.
But it's a pretty repaint.
Yeah. Well, actually, can you call the Grimlock a repaint when it has less paint than the original? Wouldn't that be a depaint?
That's a
we just came up with a new term.
A new term, a depaint. There's less paint than the original.
That is a very strong point. Thank you for making that, Dom.
You're welcome. Now, I'll admit, I watched a video review from P.L. on the Voyager Optimus, and I mentioned this to Rick and then the guys in pre-show. It's amazing. This happens before, but it's easier to see in the movie lines. This basic Optimus that we get, that's not the evasion mode, the new long-nose Optimus, how many different transformations you can get out of that same base truck mode. And the Voyager is very interesting. It's got some interesting twists and turns, and it's still a very similar looking Optimus, but getting there is a completely different process. So I know I'll be getting that one and Leader Megatron. Those two I know for sure are the ones I want to get.
Megatron is such a yes.
I had a thought, with as many people that do love the movie lines, and let's be honest, there's a lot of people that's back into the Transformers franchise simply because of the movies, and they love the movie characters. Why not give, I know that they have the movie masterpiece, but are they truly masterpiece figures? I always wondered why they didn't take some of the core characters like Prime and Bumblebee and Megatron and make actual masterpiece figures of those, the movie characters.
They're doing.
I know there's movie masterpiece, but are they actually masterpiece style, or are they just like fancy? Are they like the Human Alliance, just with really good paint?
That's pretty much the original.
That's coming out is supposedly in that masterpiece style, that new Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Even though it's based off the film, and previously Takara had released the Leader Bumblebee and Leader Starscream
Yep.
As masterpieces in Japan.
Yeah. Now
but those aren't really masterpieces.
Those aren't. Yeah, that's why I'm saying they're not true masterpiece, because they're technically just Leader class repackaged in masterpiece boxes.
But I'll be honest, the de-painted Starscream without all the tattoos does look pretty good.
James Black on the live chat just said #depaint.
Yeah.
I think we can get that trending.
We're starting a new trend right here, depaint. My pickup over the last week, I don't know if you can see my shelves behind me. A lot of them, there's some of them that's like quite empty. But a lot of people that if you've been following for some time, you know that I've been going through a massive cull. It started back in December, and then I was out of work for about a month and a half, and I was trying to pay my bills, so sold off a bunch of stuff then, and then I still had a remainder of my list. Well, sold that off in one big chunk, and I went to our sponsor, CapturePrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service, CapturePrey.com. And I went and picked up a number of figures. I got MP36 Megatron. Still haven't transformed it yet, but it is a gorgeous toy. I got the X-Transbots Elegos, the Cyclonus. Lovely toy, but I got to messing with it a while ago and realized that he is missing his left pointer finger. So I'm going to have to see if I can get that fixed. But other than that, he's really, really nice. Fans Toy Spotter, which is Reflector. Masterpiece Grapple, my first exposure to that mold. Super. I love how the crane just folds up. I'm just amazed by that. Masterpiece Cheetor. And
speaking of Cheetor, this is Cheetor right here.
Is that really his name?
That's Cheetor.
Oh, that is awesome.
My Cheetor is
the boss kitty
somewhere.
Meow.
Working.
But it's a great day whenever you got new toys to open and everything. And I've still got some that I've opened and I've posed them, but I haven't even transformed them yet. So I've still got several days of awesome work to do. Plus, I'm in the process of rearranging my display cases behind me. I've got like all my G1s sitting on a table over here because they're going into this case over here, and so yeah, I've got some empty shelves that will be filled very shortly. So I can't wait to finish that. I'm going to post pictures on the Facebook group and let people see what it looks like when I'm done. Hopefully, everybody will like it. But let's get into our main topic of discussion tonight, which is Transformers licensed goods. And Rick, you want to tell us a little bit about what exactly are licensed goods, or a lot of people may call knickknacks?
I call them the non-toy items. Licensed goods, anything from... It's not something that Hasbro or Takara would make. This is something that they would allow a third-party company to make, such as Warren, Aladdin. These are companies that are well-known out there that make licensed goods, Collegeville. These are lunchboxes, pencil sets, costumes, folders, books, anything that's just not a toy that would not be manufactured by Hasbro is what we're going to talk about tonight.
Awesome. I'm pretty much sure that everybody that is listening or watching, regardless of how big of a fan or how small a fan you are, everybody's got some little something around their house that is Transformers related that is not necessarily a toy. Sneak up on me. I mean, for example, this little great thing that my girlfriend picked up for me a year or so ago. Love it. It is a Optimus Prime Pez dispenser. I love this thing. There was an Optimus Prime and a Megatron, and I don't think I have the Megatron one yet, but neat little thing to just sit around the house.
Well, it's Pez. I mean, who doesn't like Pez?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like that candy. I'm not a big fan of it myself, but
for the longest time, if you've been collecting as long as I have, you always wondered, how come there's not a Pez Transformer? And finally, in the last couple of years, I guess, dream or aspirational goal for any brand finally came true. Yeah. Once you have a Pez, you're
pretty much set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek has a Pez. Star Wars has a Pez.
Lord of the Rings.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, wasn't there G1 Pez's like years and years ago, like back in the 80s?
I thought there was.
No, not that I'm aware of. And give you some history on what I like to collect is there's only so many toys out there. What's amazing about Transformers is that I'll collect Transformers for the next 30 years, 20 years, however long I have left to live. And I'll still find stuff that I didn't know existed. For example, last week I'm that idiot who paid $100 for a bucket. It's a Transformers sand pail. It's a white bucket, and it has Ultra Magnus and Omega Supreme on it. And I've never seen this before. I asked a bunch of friends about it. They had never seen it before. I went to Carl Hartman. I went to Tony Prado of Tempting Toys. No one had ever seen this thing before. $100. Had to do it. I have a Transformers beach pail now.
Nice.
I didn't know that existed either. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's like, and sometimes collectors like myself will take knickknacks and licensed goods to kind of accentuate our collection room. For example, in my collection room right now, I have a curtain, a Transformers curtain that is over my window, and then I've got a Transformers rug that's on the floor. It's just little things to help accentuate and bring the theme of the room out. Just like there's one thing to have toys in there, but you put pictures up and rugs and curtains. It just brings the whole collection together, in my opinion. What about you, Jack? Anything that you do?
Pretty much the only thing I really can think of. I found this little Transformers cup at Target for $1, and I was just like, meh, I have $1, and I got it. And
you might have a pen and an apple too. And
so let me ask you this, Jack. You're part of the younger generation of collectors. What is on that cup? Is it G1? Is it movie?
It's actually
or
Age
is
of
it something
Extinction.
else?
Age of Extinction, but if you actually it's kind of like the Rise of the Darkspark character models. Because I looked at Optimus and he didn't look. Obviously, he's his Age of Extinction character, but it's the Rise of the Darkspark version, which he kind of looked a little more apey with the longer arms and different head. But yeah, I found this at Target and for $1, and I was just like, yeah. Then this one I had for a long time. I'm not sure if we can do like Burger King toys or anything, but little ratchet that's supposed to pop up. And
was that Prime Bumblebee or Prime Ratchet?
That's
this is the movie Ratchet.
Okay,
this one came from the first movie.
I know your brand.
No, dude, it was like really blown out on my screen. So there we go. Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to. He's kind of lost all of his strength to really pop out, but yeah, it's supposed to just you press the little bumper and comes out.
Yeah,
kind of like in a Hulk Hogan type pose.
Also, there's not just like pens and pencils too. You also have licensed goods such as the Loyal Subjects little vinyl figures. This one here is Dead Optimus Prime. Neat little things. They don't transform. Pretty much just paperweights or things to put on your desk at work. But neat to begin, or neat. In and of itself, I'm not a huge fan of I don't. I'm trying to get my words together. I'm not like Rick. I don't collect a whole lot of Transformers related products, but every now and then there is something that will stick out to me. Lexington Comic-Con several weeks ago, I found a etched drinking glass with Megatron's head on it, and
nice.
I had to get it. It was awesome.
See, when you get to the point where I'm at, where all right, basically what I'm just collecting now are variants of figures, of G1 figures. This is the other stuff that's out there for me to hunt, and I have a whole top 10 list of things that I'd love to get. That are non-licensed goods. I don't think there's a single figure on my top 10 list right now. No, there's not.
Not even Masterpiece?
No. I'm talking about stuff that is like truly hard to find. That like that bucket was one of them. Actually, last week I also got a ruler. It's a lenticular ruler. It probably sells for like $5. But this is a lenticular ruler that was still sealed in its package from 1984 with an unpunched card. So, like, it's that type of stuff. It's like, wow, somebody kept this in the package with an unpunched card for 30-some years. I'm going to make a move for that. Yeah, I ended up paying $30 for that.
Hey Rick, would through the years I've heard of one of the holy grails of licensed products was the Power Wheels hot rod, if I'm remembering correctly. Is that is that something that you have, or was that one of the ones one of the big holy grails you were looking for?
All right, so the Power Wheels hot rod, to give you some idea, if you're not familiar with what that is, there was a movie promotion for the 1986 Transformers film. Said you can win this Power Wheels hot rod, and basically what that hot rod was it was a standard Power Wheels car from whatever Power Wheels line there was, with Transformer stickers on it. However, it has never surfaced, so it leads me to believe that it was either given to someone who played with it, enjoyed it, trashed it, or it was never came to fruition. It was not a Power Wheels that was in the shape of Hot Rod. It was like a Mustang or a Trans Am or something that just had stickers on it to make it transformery.
Okay.
That is the most I've ever been able to find on that. I did complete one of my holy grails a couple years ago. About 7 years ago, I got the Transformers pedal car from the UK. It's a pedal car kind of in the shape of G1 Jazz. It was only sold in the UK, and I was lucky enough to get that for $225 shipped.
Wow.
Yeah. Those things tend to sell for a lot more.
Yeah.
I think because it was coming from the UK, shipping was an issue, and I just happened to snag it, and my friend Paul Hitchens was the seller on that.
Sweet. Listener Talus on our YouTube channel, and I want to direct people, if you are watching us or listening to us on the audio version, you can interact with us live on our YouTube channel each week. And our listener Talus, he posted that he has a 1984 Transformers birthday napkins still in package, unopened. Also, the school set pencil case with package never opened. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Rick, I got another question for you here. One thing I was lucky enough to get many years ago, there was a Transformers fan named Kendrick. I can't remember his last name, but I remember his name was Kendrick at some of the early BotCons. And I traded copies of my Master Force on VHS for Time Warrior. If you remember the Time Warrior watch.
Yes.
Would that be considered a licensed good, since I'm sure Hasbro didn't make a watch to?
The Time Warrior, I think, was actually made by Milton Bradley, and I don't think that can be considered a licensed good, because that was a promotion that you had to mail in for,
right?
For Hasbro goods. So you had to buy Hasbro goods, mail in the robot points, and you would get. I mean, I'd still consider it in that genre of, it's not a Transformer, it's not an actual toy, it's a watch.
Right.
So I still consider that in the realm of what we're talking about tonight, but technically it's not a licensed good per se.
Yeah, because I was, it's loose and only one side will spring open, but it's about the only one I've seen that was not like $150 to $200 the last time I saw one, and I doubt $200 would even touch a Time Warrior with the mailer and stuff nowadays.
Yeah, that's still on my to get list. I have a Time Warrior with the instructions, but not in the mailer box. So that's still on the list of things to get.
But even go ahead.
Things that are on the list for people to get. I know there's something that a lot of people always seems to love, and that's the Aladdin lunchboxes. From I know there's some that's out now, or within recent years, but this is a vintage Aladdin lunchbox that I have here, G1 lunchbox, and if you open it up, it still has the thermos inside with G1 package art, basically. Cartoonized on it.
Now, I'm not watching the YouTube because I'm trying to save bandwidth on my end. But is that the plastic one or the metal one?
It is the plastic one. I did have a metal one, but it rusted rather quick, and I think that was the main issue with those back in the day. And I think that's why Aladdin actually eventually came out with the plastic ones, because they wouldn't rust as easily.
Well, the first they came out with the plastic, then they came out with metal.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
Come on, man, know your brand, dude.
Yeah, because I got lucky being old and growing up with this stuff, because I didn't buy much licensed stuff because I was trying to afford the toys on a budget. I was basically having to get all my stuff from flea markets at the time, but I did get lucky enough to pick up two things, and I got a third thing I'll talk about. I did pick up the metal lunchbox, rusted around the edges, but still nice because it had all the embossing on it with the raised textures and everything, and it came with the Visionaries thermos. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And I also have the trash can. I have the Transformers trash can that I picked up. God knows, I don't know where, but it's basically, if you've seen the poster for the family home VHS releases with the giant Decepticon logo and Optimus Prime standing there with his gun pointed up.
Yeah,
it's basically it's that family home poster on the trash can. But there just wasn't much of this licensed stuff I wanted to buy because I was buying the toys. But and I'm gonna give a shout out. He's not in the fandom. He's never been in the fandom. One of my best friends from college was Earl. Earl lived near a antique store down near a lake house where they lived on a lake.
And he ran a van down by the river.
Yeah. And well, Earl said, "Hey, you collect Transformers? I saw something Transformers down at this antique store." He said it was a jar or something. So I go down there, and for $20, I got the Optimus Prime cookie jar.
Oh,
Now,
that
the
thing's
cookie jar
gorgeous.
is something that is quite rare, especially to find it not chipped. The cookie jar is from 1985, and I think I paid. It was on my top 10 list for many, many years, and I finally got one at BotCon 2007, I think. And I think I ended up paying $250 for it loose.
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, this was 90. I was in college. I was in junior college at the community college, so it must have been 90 or 91, and they had that at a antique store with all their other cookie jars, and it was $20. That's about the only thing I have other than the trash can and the lunchbox, and that's one of my favorite. I hopefully I'll never be in a situation where I have to sell that, but that's my favorite non-toy Transformers thing, unless you can count the movie poster. I don't know if you can count the '86 movie poster or not. If that would be a licensed item or not.
It's a non-toy item.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if this counts as a licensed item, but a lot of people, if you're watching the YouTube video, saw me hold this up earlier. The Softimus Prime, as a lot of people called it. Basically, it's Transformers with Popple technology. And
Wait, that's
Jack doesn't know what a popple is. Remember that.
That sounds familiar.
Well, essentially, it's a plushie that you invert from. You basically turn it inside out and turn it from one mode into the other. And there was a Bumblebee and an Optimus Prime. I don't think there were any other ones.
Okay.
No, just Bumblebee and Prime.
Yeah, I got the Prime, and I never did get the Bumblebee.
I believe while I worked at Hasbro, I saw two other ones that never came out. I want to say it was Hound and Soundwave.
Oh, neat.
But they never came out. They were just sitting there in a pile.
I have to say this. I love how Duron calls turning something inside out a technology. Like Popple technology.
It's more of a gimmick than technology. Yeah.
I know. It's like Popple technology,
and
will
it was
save
meant
the
to be
world.
funny. So
I know.
But before we start Rick's presentation here, I want to remind everybody that we also have a sponsor that is Mega Toy Fan. Maximize your collection while minimizing your costs with Mega Toy Fan. You can find Mega Toy Fan at all the popular robot and toy conventions year-round, such as TFCon Canada and TFCon USA. If you are looking for a really awesome vintage toy or maybe even a missile or something that you're missing, Mega Toy Fan can help you out. Check them out, Mega Toy Fan, at popular robot and toy conventions year-round. And you can also contact them on Facebook. A lot of great stuff on there. So, Rick, you had some pictures you wanted to talk about and give us a little brief history on license.
Well, it's not so much a history. It's a, hey, I thought I'd put together some interesting things, some interesting pictures, and we just go through and we just talk about them. This is a little different from the art presentation we did a few weeks ago. And I'm a big fan of PowerPoint stuff. So if you guys if the listeners like the presentations I'm doing, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll stop doing them. So here, I'm going to screen share here. Let me close out all my naughty windows.
Again, I want to remind everybody that if you are listening to the audio version, these images that he's getting ready to share, all the clean ones anyway, will be posted on our
clean.
On our TFYLP Facebook group in the thread for this episode. So just look that up, and we'll post them in there. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if I'll probably just post them in their own thread, make it a little easier for people to.
Yeah, you make it easier. You do that.
Yeah.
So to give you some history about this, so you know, I'm not talking out my ass. A bunch of years ago, I wrote a book called Transformers Collectibles by J. Alvarez. This is the book. It has a bunch of non-toy items. I think that's how we should refer to them. Everything from statues to VHS tapes to playing cards. Keychains, soap dishes, etc. So it's still available. Please purchase several copies of it. And just some of the pictures from the inside of the book. This is Beast Wars 2 stuff. So I thought tonight we would just try and focus on G1 things.
That's what I just showed.
So this was the first lunchbox produced by Aladdin. This came with the thermos shown. Now, they also made this lunchbox.
I love that one.
From 1986. This is the metal lunchbox. Now, this particular image was also released on a plastic lunchbox. And if you have the plastic lunchbox with this image on it, that is the hard to get one. That is something I'm still looking for.
Oh, wow.
So the metal lunchbox with the Metroplex on it, easy peasy. Plastic lunchbox with Metroplex on it, a little harder to come by. Okay, this is a UK box. In the UK, lunchboxes are a little bit different. A lot of the vintage lunchboxes that I have found that are in my collection are either red or blue. These pictures are from the interweb, so thank you to internet people for posting them and letting me steal them. I've never seen an orange lunchbox before, so I'm going to guess this is a pretty rare item in and of itself. So I think this is probably a nice, $100 bill right here for this box.
That's almost Huffer orange.
It is. It's the Huffer lunchbox. You just got to paint wheels on it. The tray. Now, if you're a product of the 1980s, like some of us are, except for Jack.
Well, he probably resulted in the 80s. Or at least the early 90s.
You would have these trays. You would sit in front of your TV on Saturday mornings, and you would watch cartoons. I know, cartoons on a Saturday morning, it's crazy. They don't have those anymore. But this is the common tray for Transformers. There are a couple of variants on this, especially from the UK, which are far more expensive to purchase. And if you find one of these trays that's actually not rusted out because, you would spill your food, mom would just come, wash it, water would get in there, it get rusted out, then you have a gem on your hands. I'm lucky I actually have one of these still in the plastic. What do you do after you wash your hands? After you eat, you wash your hands. Thank you.
Wow. A floating soap dish that is Skywarp. Oh my God.
I have not seen that in 25 years.
I'd kill for a Thundercracker.
That is awesome.
Licensed stuff like this, excuse me, licensed stuff like this was pretty much taken out of a guide. You'd say, hey, why is there a Skywarp? Isn't it supposed to be Optimus or Bumblebee? I'm like, well, yeah, but remember, back in the 80s, there wasn't like a style guide that was handed out saying your top A, top B, top C characters as there is today. A bunch of images would be given out, and the licensor would take whatever one they thought was interesting and make a product out of it. So that's how you get the Skywarp soap dish. Now, I've seen this soap dish come with a number of different soaps. This looks like the one that's in this particular package is Ramjet, which I've never seen before. Mine has tracks in it.
That looks like Skywarp in there. It's definitely black.
No, the Skywarp. Yeah, the Skywarp is a soap dish, but it comes. If you look in the very back, there's a bar soap that is sticking out of the soap dish with Ramjet on it.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
So who knows how many variants there are of that soap dish with different pieces of soap on it, like different character art on it. That's the type of stuff that drives me crazy. Here's just another view of the Skywarp soap dish. As often is the tradition of the 80s, 1980s technology, you would just stand something up and it would be transformed.
Like the Generations little mini bots that came with the Legends. Stand them up. All done.
or a GoBot.
Hey.
This is another piece from the UK. This is, again, just searching the web for some images for tonight. Soundwave soap. I have seen Optimus soap. I have the Optimus soap in the box, and it's the same size box, and it's the same shape. So it leads me to believe that there could be, again, who knows how many different variants. I have an Optimus. Here's a Soundwave. There might be a Megatron, a Starscream out there. Who knows? And the trash can.
Oh, so is that the one you just got?
Well, that's the one I have.
Rick?
Oh, no, I got the beach bucket. The beach bucket.
Oh, okay.
Sand
I thought this was the one you were referring to. Okay.
No, this is a trash
No, that
can.
was done.
The beach pail is for putting granulated pieces of stone inside, and we call that sand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've never seen this. I've never seen this thing you called sand before.
So I know you live out in a landlocked state. It's your parents' fault, not yours.
Even though I lived on the coast for 15 years.
So Collegeville, very popular costume company. I believe they were sold, closed down, and then reopened by another company under the name Collegeville. So there's still Collegeville items still in production. But Collegeville costumes came packaged, for the most part, in boxes where you would just see the face. And on the inside, you would get basically the character art on a flame-retardant piece of vinyl, and you get the mask for that character. So it's not quite a costume. It's just like a mask with a big piece of art telling everyone that you're a Transformer on it.
When I was 6, I had one of those as Casper, and I hated that outfit because it was so flippin' hot. It didn't breathe.
Right, and then the rubber bands that would hold the mask on your face would always break within 2 seconds. Let's see. There's a number of Collegeville costumes out there. There is Superion. There is Silverbolt, which is hard to find. There is Snarl, Grimlock, Optimus, Megatron, Ultra Magnus, and I think that might be. There's probably some more others out there that I'm not aware of. But here is another view of it. This is the Ultra Magnus one.
What a creepy looking face.
I know.
It's like he's like a green mask Ultra Magnus or something other.
The Green Hornet Magnus.
The Green Hornet and Ultra Magnus instead of Kato.
And here's a variation on the Optimus. Collegeville produced Transformers costumes all the way up until Generation 2.
Which actually, if they made Generation 2 costumes, then the kids would have been a lot more visible on Halloween.
Yeah.
True. That's very true.
Look, it's a pink Optimus Prime.
So, yes, the G2 costumes look like the KO versions of the costumes, of the real costumes. So here's another thing that was very popular in the 80s is Viewmaster.
Viewmasters.
Jack, do you know what a Viewmaster is?
Yep, I've used these a few times.
You put the
reel disc in,
the disc,
hold it up like a pair of binoculars, ching, ching,
right.
Like taking a camera.
Right,
yep.
Right. So this is actually a gem I'm looking for. This is the Viewmaster in the box. I have some Viewmaster reels carded, but I don't have the Viewmaster itself in this box. So if you have it out there, please give it to me.
Notice he said give, not sell.
Yeah, well, back in the 80s, kids used to listen to this thing called AM radio.
AM.
AM radio, yes.
AM radio, yeah. I am radio. It's like what
and
Soundwave
this is a big, giant watch that you would wear for about 5 seconds and then realize this is a big, stupid watch on your wrist and then take it off.
When I look at this, I think of, and this is going to date me even more than everything else it does, growing up in the mid-'70s, there was a Sid and Marty Krofft show called Letter Woman and Dinah Girl, and that was like one of the wrist devices they would carry. That was their multi-tool. That thing is huge.
Yeah, I've read about that show in my history books.
Yeah, didn't Fred Flintstone star in that?
You don't know classic TV. You don't know Sid and Marty Krofft, for shame.
I bet you grew up idolizing Starsky and Hutch, didn't you?
Nah, not really. I was more of a Y5O kind of kid.
No, you were a Shaft kind of guy, huh?
Well, nah. Actually, my cop jam was Rockford Files, to be honest. But I have good taste.
Sure. Anyway, this just goes to show you how perfect the 1980s were. I mean, look at the packaging, how big it is compared to the actual watch that you get inside.
But it's covered with all kinds of pretty artwork.
Sure.
Eye-catching artwork.
Here's another beauty I'm looking for in the package. The Find It Loose is quite common. This is the Soundwave tape deck. Now, this is one of those pieces of licensed goods that actually makes perfect sense. Soundwave was a tape deck. And this is a tape deck that actually plays tapes. Jack, do you know what that tape is? Do you understand how tapes work?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you know what a VCR is, by any chance?
Yeah, I had one.
Oh, okay.
It was built into my TV. That's how old that thing was. Till that thing died out.
Betamax?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I have this. His head is very bad to pop off when you hit stop, because sometimes when it pops up to stop playing the tape, the head will literally just fly off, and he's not a headmaster. But what's really fun is to have the Transformers soundtrack playing in Soundwave. That's kind of meta right there.
I'm waiting for a third-party company to make a Soundwave that actually works as either a tape player or an MP3 player.
Please.
Then they would have to make another third-party company just to make tapes.
I just thought of something. You know how they did Masterpiece Soundwave in the tapes? Someone needs to do make a new Soundwave cassette player and include all of the book on tape episodes,
nice.
like with Mega
Satellite of Doom,
and all those.
Right.
I would buy that.
Yeah, let's get right on that. Another popular AM radio, Robot AM radio.
that looks like it says Robot AM radio.
Now, Rick, I remember the Ultra Magnus voice changer, which might be coming up. But wasn't there an Ultra Magnus radio as well? Or am I misremembering?
I don't have an Ultra Magnus radio in my records, but okay. I mean, there could be. I mean, that's the beauty of this brand. It's so vast, and there's so many things out there.
And this shows how old it is because it's powered with a 9-volt battery.
Wow, like Shockwave was back in the day.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I would be more surprised was if it used C-cell batteries.
So this is a radio that actually had ARM articulation. Sure.
Why not? Oh, I've seen these. Is that Enemy? Yep. Is this the base for the toy Enemy?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There was a repaint of one of the Rumble Frenzy mold as Enemy.
Oh, yes, indeed. Sure. So there was a couple voice changers. The most popular one is the Ultra Magnus voice changer, but there was also a Rumble voice changer. And I remember when I was on my honeymoon, I was in Lucca, Italy, and there happened to be a toy convention in Lucca, Italy, the day I was there for my honeymoon. And I actually found this voice changer there in the Italian packaging.
Why does your wife
Nice.
not hate you now, Rick? Going to toy conventions on your honeymoon.
Lots of women hate me, man. I don't know. And then this is another AM radio. This one came with a headset. What was cool about this one, or what's interesting, that this Decepticon logo that's right there pops off, and underneath it is this. It looks like it's actually a reproduction of the Rumble Frenzy figure. It's to scale to the actual G1 figure, and it actually transforms. It's attached to the radio, so you can't take it off, but the legs will swing down and the arms will swing down. But it's basically as if somebody took a toy, reproduced part of it, and just glued it onto the radio.
That is cool as hell.
It's another one of those items that makes you understand that these people had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, let's say Transformers at that point was selling so phenomenally well. It was basically they were just printing money. So anything you threw a Transformers logo on was making Hasbro money at that point. So that's because if you're looking at it with today's knowledge of licensings and stuff, this makes no sense. But back then, like you said, there's no guidebook, there was no play guide. It was just, we own toilet paper and we want to put your Autobot logo on it. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
give us money.
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's how you get some of those weird things. Where it's like, why would anybody want an Ultra Magnus voice changer? Why would they need Ultra Magnus voice changer? Why wouldn't it be like a Soundwave? Yeah. Ultra Magnus. It's just an odd character to select for that.
You too can now sound like Robert Stack.
If you know of
anybody that sounds like Robert Stack, please contact us at unsolvedmysteries.
Here's another AM radio. AM radios were really popular in the 80s.
And I don't see. I lived in the 80s, and I didn't listen to anything AM except maybe Paul Harvey, and that's one thing I listened to in the 80s. Was
that
Paul
the rest
Harvey.
of the story?
Yeah, no, that's coming up. But yeah, all these are AM radios. It's like I don't understand why none of them are FM. It just does. Looking back at it, doesn't make any sense because it's like you can't get nothing on.
AM was more
pick upable,
family value, or less degenerate.
Well,
I don't know.
Less degenerate.
Well, you did have all those crazy rock stations like WKRP broadcasting their filth out on the airways. So,
baby, if you've ever wondered.
So this actually flips up. The Autobot symbol flips up to reveal Optimus Prime's face underneath. Here's the Time Warrior.
Oh,
yeah.
My best friend had this in school.
Produced by Milton Bradley. The only way you can get this, as it was not sold in stores, was to cut out the robot points on the back of the packaging of Transformers and mail it in. Now you can get the Power Dashers, the Omnibots.
I believe you can get Jazz.
No, that was later.
Jazz was later?
Yeah.
The thing with this is that my buddies, the one that he had, the face where it splits open. If you push on that little blue, the blue chin of the Autobot insignia, the face would swing out in half to reveal the timepiece underneath. He was always hitting that little blue thing. It's like if his wrist bumped something, that thing was flying open. It drove him nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, it's such a simple piece, but I love mine so much. Even though only half side springs open now.
And it is a harder to find piece now. Let's see. Autoceptor. There was a couple of other watches. There was help me out with the names, Don. Was it Chronoform?
Yeah, Chronoform, and I can't. Chronoform is the only one I can remember right now. Him and Autoceptor.
Do not.
So there were three watches that were in this line. There was a Scorpion, a car, and the other one was a box.
Was it a? Yeah. It was the traditional robot wrist that would sort of fold down, fold up, and turn the head around.
Right. Yes. So this is Jack. I don't know if you find this interesting or not. I mean, this is still history of the brand. I mean, this is not stuff that kids your age grew up with, but this is. In a time before iPods, a time before internet, we were living off VCRs and.
Yep, I used to be like that, to where it's pretty much the only form of media I would have is pretty much the little cassette tapes and VHSs before we got all these fancy the DVD players and whatnot.
But
sometimes I think you're a lot younger than you actually are. How old are you, Jack?
18.
You
come on.
What's weird about it is I have Autoceptor, and I picked it up loose with the band, God knows where and when. But it's surprisingly an interesting little transformation. It's a lot more complex than anything else I'd seen at the time for the size, and it makes a decent little robot.
Is this one of those that basically it was a watch band, and then you basically popped it off the back of the watch band, and you could transform it? Or
yep, just like the little square robot watch that Brick was talking about a minute ago. Yeah, they both were the same, and the Scorpion. But I never had the Scorpion.
I don't recall seeing these in person, but I remember hearing of them.
So these were actually produced by Takara, licensed by Hasbro. And they are quite rare. I think if you find some of these in the package, I think they're upwards of $300 a piece.
Good Lord.
Yeah. I never saw that many even living through that era. I saw a couple on pegs now and then, but I mean, looking back through with my memory, I just don't remember seeing that many. The one I got, I found loose at a flea market for probably $1 or $2.
Yeah, I lived through that era too. I can't ever recall seeing these. I distinctly remember the Jazz commercial for the Cookie Crisp Jazz on TV.
I remember that.
Thinking, oh man, I really want that. Speaking of Jazz,
yes,
the pedal car.
This is the infamous pedal car.
Oh, I've never seen that before. That's gorgeous.
I've only seen it in the Transformers Vault book.
Yeah, that's actually my pedal car in the Transformers Vault book.
Nice.
Yeah, I brought that in to photograph because Hasbro didn't have one. So a lot of the things in the Vault book are actually for my collection. So this is the Transformers pedal car, only available in the UK. So of course it's going to be hard to find in the States because it's from the UK, but there's also such a huge shipping expense with this thing.
Because it's a pedal car.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is a pretty large item.
Well, it's not just because I had a friend that bought the entire run of Action Force comics, which is about 200 plus issues before it became Action Force in the UK, and his box was about this big, and probably cost as much as what yours shipped would be, just on the basis of just sheer weight of over 200 comics in a box. So believe me, I can understand how much that would cost. But it looks like it's in great shape, Rick, as far as the striping and everything.
This one's not mine. This is an image found online.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that was yours. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, we're talking about the Vault book that came out a few years ago.
Okay.
The one pictured in that one is mine. Well, I'm screen sharing, Jack, so it does no good to anyone.
Yeah, Jim Black asked if you still drive it to work every day.
No, I don't work anymore. I'm retired, so no. This is number 1 on my top 10 list right now.
Ooh,
power cycle.
So I'll tell you a story about this. One went up for auction, in Pennsylvania, and I drove down there. And it came down to me and this other dude who kept bidding it up. and he already had one. He already had one in the box. He just needed the sticker sheet off this one so he can scan it, replicate it, and put stickers on his other one. So I lost out to this. My highest bid for one in the box, it was a much nicer box than this, unassembled with the sticker sheets. I think I tapped out at $750.
Holy crap.
Wow.
And he got it for $8. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is he could have come up to you and said, "Hey, look, I just need to scan the stickers." Instead of driving the price up, he could have let you have it, still got the sticker scanned, and y'all both would have walked away fine. You know, that's kind of the sad part.
He's a nice guy. We stayed in touch. Actually, after that, he's like, "Well, I'm going to sell you my other one." And every time we see each other, he's like, "Hey, I'm still going to sell that to you, but it's never materialized. So I'm not counting on it." He's still an incredibly nice guy, though. But yeah, this is number one on my top 10 must-get Transformers items. You're looking at it. The Trailbreaker Power Wheel set. It was very common in the 80s to see a Power Wheel based off He-Man, Transformers, Thundercats. I had the Knight Rider one when I was a kid. Oh, I had a Rambo one too. The Rambo Power Wheel.
Is that the one that had the little machine gun in the right between the handlebars?
It had a gun on it. Yeah. That's when you could sell guns to kids that looked like guns.
Yeah.
Another item from my childhood, the Transformers desk set. This was on my top 10 list too for many years, and I found one at RetroCon in Philadelphia a few years ago in the package. I remember sitting in front of the fireplace drawing on that little notepad when I was a kid. So it comes with a calendar for 1986 and 1987.
Oh, ahead of times here.
Right. It comes with a drawing mat with jazz, and you would flip up the jazz. It was robot mode. You'd flip it up. You'd see the vehicle mode underneath. Ravage was the calendar. Sideswipe, and on the other side it was Sunstreaker. Sunstreaker was the pencil holder, and then Rumble was I think a flip up notepad. This is another UK item. This is
what is that?
Looks like a pencil case.
It's a pencil case.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a simple pencil case from the UK. But this is the type of stuff that I go crazy over because it's beautiful in its very own way. It's kind of hard to describe. It's it's not something that would be sold in today's branding society because of its simplistic nature and coloring. Would anyone disagree with that?
Probably not. No,
Not really.
Yeah, I don't.
Although it is cool. I mean, it's got bombshell, swoop, and it looks like a Constructicon off to the left there.
Yeah.
But it's swoop and bombshell's box art.
Yeah. Plus also, Rick, would you say that this kind of stuff was probably produced in either much lower quantities, so it's harder to find now, or the stuff was somewhat considered disposable, so not that much lasted this long?
I would say it's probably considered disposable, but again, you're talking about an item that was not sold to be put on a shelf. It was sold for kids to put in their backpacks, take to school, drop on the floor, kick around, keep the crayons in. This is also an international item. This is this is not something. Maybe I would.
Rick, listener Benjamin Yoon on YouTube asked he's a little bit behind, but isn't Big Wheel not Power Wheel? Is there a difference?
There might be a difference. Yeah. I have always called them big wheels.
Same.
Well, see,
well, there's big wheels. Power wheels are electronic.
yeah, battery power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Power wheels are electronic. Big wheels, it's the thing. It's like it's like a 3-wheeler where it's got the big wheel in the front and the 2 wheels in the back, and you sit on it and you pedal with your feet around the center wheel. That's the big wheel. I'm sorry if I use the correct terminology. Sorry.
Well, he was just confused, but thanks for clearing that up.
So this is a pencil sharpener. I actually just bought this pencil sharpener today. Not the one seen here, but one loose for $15. The one I had was chipped. So I thought, what, $15, and he's throwing in a cute little laser beak puzzle. Yeah, why not?
Looks like it's got an old Toys R Us price tag on it.
Yep.
97 cents.
Yeah.
97 cents.
God, those labels were so hard to get off. Jeez, it just.
Now they have a kind of a charm to them, but I remember when I was buying Beast Wars, and I would buy, I still do this today. I buy 2 of every one to keep open, one to keep sealed. But particularly, KB Toy Stores would take the sticker and just put it right over the bubble. And the KB Toy Store stickers were just like the worst stickers to get off a bubble.
I worked for K&K and KB at 2 different points in the company's history, and trust me, I can attest to that. But I think that's what's so weird is the BotCon Machine Wars set. Adding that little fake KB sticker meant so much to me because I worked when Machine Wars. I actually, I'll tell you, I can't tell this on camera, but. Now, I was there when Machine Wars hit, and them having that little fake sticker meant a ton more to me than practically anything else about the set.
Yeah, that was completely Lanny Latham's idea. I saw that, and I freaked out when I saw that. It was just perfect.
I think they brought that up in that year's roundtable, and I thanked him because having worked there, it was such a nostalgic kick in the what for me to see that on the box now. It just, I'm trying to for our younger viewers and stuff.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, for our younger viewers, if you don't understand, balls, he's referring to testicles.
Yep.
And they.
But anyway,
it's not pleasant being kicked there.
No, it hurts. It's like getting a toy. A really expensive one, opening it up and breaking it immediately.
Yeah, I've done that with a lot of third-party items, unfortunately. Like, this should transform. There should be a joint here, crack.
Oh, there is now.
There is. That's right. There is now. Anyway, here's what the stupid thing I paid for looks like. It's a really awfully sculpted. This was in the 80s. There was no approval department that would sign off on stuff and go, okay, that is a correct representation of our character. If there was,
they really
it was really horrible.
they didn't give a damn.
It just looks like it was made like with cake icing and just poorly drawn on a cake.
Actually, what that reminds me of, I don't know if you remember doing this in high school or even in middle school, those little ornaments that you would like hand paint, they were made out of ceramic, and you would hand paint them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what that looks like.
Yep. I made a couple.
I mean, because the detail on them is not that great, and then of course you hand paint it, and that makes it even worse. And
I mean, just look at that Autobot symbol.
Yeah.
I mean, the Prime is one thing, but I mean, look at that Autobot symbol.
It's like it's like half the face is kind of like warped.
Half of it's kind of having a stroke.
It's Yeah, it's the Jim Ross of Autobot insignias.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I went there.
All right, stamp bots. So the stamp bots were available in two different ways. They came individually carded, or they came packaged in a gift set. There are 4 different stamps. There's Jazz, Wheeljack, Optimus, and Starscream. And here's 2 variations on the card. They all came with the Jazz backer card. They all had the same exact card. But if you look at these cards, they are from different releases.
It's like a mirrored release. Mirrored
I would
image.
say the one on the right is probably the first release.
Yeah, because the one on the left has the whole non-toxic and washable on there.
Right. So for variant collectors out there like me, this becomes problematic. And then here is a variation on the gift set, and the variation comes in the form of it's got different colored markers, and the position of the stamps is different. So
I vaguely remember these. I do remember them, but I don't remember. Again, I don't remember seeing them much.
yeah, stuff like this drives me crazy. Just trying to figure out how many different versions there are out there. And, again, there's not a whole lot of people who care about this stuff, so sometimes you find it cheap. But nowadays, it's kind of gotten to the point where the people who have this stuff actually know what the stuff is. And something like this, I would say for the one that's on the right-hand side that's in a better condition card, I would say I'd say easily $100.
Shellformer said he had these only, and there were also He-Man ones that came with little mini battle bones.
Yes, there were He-Man ones, and the He-Man ones came individually carded, and then I think the battle bones came individually boxed, which was the figure transporter, which was also the stamp transporter, and then there was a deluxe set, I think, of battle bones with 4 stamps. If I'm correct. I'm horrible for knowing that. And just a closer look.
Dig the Starscream one.
Back when there used to be toy shows, and Don, you might know this, you'd pay and they'd stamp your hand to get into the toy show.
Yeah,
a couple of toy shows they were just using these stamps.
I never got that lucky. I just had generic stamps that they changed out on whatever day you went, so you can get back in if you left.
Oh, I've got one of those right here. Actually, I'm sorry for the crinkly paper. Yeah,
I'm screen sharing, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the sound, but the listeners can see me, or the viewers can see me. Here's
the listeners can see me.
Well, yeah, the little rollers. You actually stuck a pen or a pencil in the end, and you could roll it through ink. And this one here is Jazz, and then this one is Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
it's got a robot and vehicle mode, and then it's got an Autobot insignia.
Yeah, we were easily entertained in the mid to late '80s, even if only for a few minutes. But it didn't take much to have us, wee. That was about it.
Today's comparison.
I've got kids, so I walk through the aisles and I see the type of stuff they like, and I keep thinking, this type of licensed goods, it's just not out there for kids.
Surprisingly, Jazz is on a lot of packages. I didn't realize that, but now I see that the Jazz is on a lot of crap.
Yeah, I've got a whole Jazz case of just different Jazz items in G1. And again, it goes to show you that completely random characters can end up as licensed goods because of a lack of a style guide or a proper style guide. So here is the Thrust roller stamp.
So,
no comments.
Yeah, well, I don't recall seeing that one.
I don't either. All I've ever seen was the Jazz.
Yeah.
So this one is a little harder to find. I only have this one loose. I don't have it in package. But I'm looking at the price on this, $497, and I'm going to guess this is probably like $86. That's kind of pricey for $1986.
Jim Black
this
says,
is a treat.
I was going to throw in real quick. Jim Black asked, he said he seemed to recall Dairy Queen having some kind of Optimus Prime in the mid-90s G2 era about that. I'm assuming a stamp. He didn't clarify.
Yeah, there was, you know what? There was a Dairy Queen promotion. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I believe I actually have the art of the G2 Optimus Prime, the original pencil art for it. Oh, okay, that's what it was. I think it was a puzzle. It was like a 10-piece puzzle or a 13-piece puzzle or something that they gave out. It was Optimus Prime's head done in the G2 style. And I actually have the original art for that somewhere. So anyway, this is one of the cooler things. Snarl. This is a stamp pot that you take apart. It includes pens. It has a place to hide things. You put your pot. You put your rubber bands inside of it. The head is a stamp. The tail does something else. It's got hind legs. This is not something that is too hard to find out there. I've seen a bunch of these still carded. But I would say this is easily a piece and I'm going to throw a number out here, and you guys tell me if I'm crazy. But for something that's carded in this condition, for this particular piece, I'd say 200, maybe 250.
I'd say go to hell.
Well,
again,
yeah, I understand.
Not everybody cares about this stuff.
Yeah.
Not everyone collects the type of stuff like this, but everyone collects in their own way, and everyone collects certain things.
And also, probably, if you stop and think about it, because it's a Dinobot, that's probably a lot of the driving lore to find it as well, because it's a Dinobot, and that's always a big thing. I mean, if that was probably, say, Jazz again or somebody else, it may not command those prices.
Mm-hmm.
Japan also had some stamps. This is an Optimus Prime stamp that actually transformed. And there is a harder to get version, which is the same exact toy, but done in Ultra Magnus colors, basically. It's the white cab with the silver trailer.
It almost looked like a Choricue.
It does.
I was about to say, like the Q robot things.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks very much like that, but this came out back in 87, I believe. Maybe earlier. Shrinky Dinks.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a blast from the past.
And I'm sure probably 90% of our listeners has no idea what a Shrinky Dink is.
And no,
Jack,
this is not
please tell people what Shrinky Dink is.
And it's not a sexual reference.
Shut up, Duran. So I think I've heard about these before. I just haven't really gotten around to really.
It's not when you get out of the pool and it's really.
Shut
cool.
up.
Right. All right. So, Don, take it away.
A Shrinky Dink is you would color I don't want to call it. It's sort of like a paper stained glass, if that makes any kind of sense.
It's like a little piece of cellophane or something.
It's not paper. It's an actual thicker piece of plastic or something, and you color it based on however you want to color it. And then here comes the mind-blowing part. You bake it in the oven. You put it in the oven. You bake it for however long, and it shrinks down, and you can make it into a little figure standee. You bake it
so back in the 80s,
oven.
Back in the 80s, you would color something, and then you would go to the oven, You would turn the oven on.
I'm not making this up. I swear.
And not burn the house down, children.
You would get
Yep.
a cake, a sheet, a baking sheet. You would put the shrinky dink on there, and you would put it in the oven and bake it at 375 degrees for like 10 minutes. Talk about liability issues.
And I swear I can hear people's minds being blown because such a thing would not exist today because
Wait, I
it
think I just
doesn't.
heard one.
It's like, where's the fun in that? Well, I mean, if you like little figures, little standees, you could have hundreds of things in the space of, a desktop.
Pencil by numbers.
Pencil by numbers, pretty standard. Pretty much every brand out there has it, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I find fascinating about Transformers is that there are so many different birthday cards for vintage Transformers. I mean, they've got everything. They've got cousins, stepmother, divorce, son-in-law.
We're sorry about your divorce, Ultra Magnus, with a little speech balloon out from Ultra Magnus. We're sorry about your divorce. Why don't you transform into somebody more likable?
God.
But there's so many different characters. I mean, there's so many bizarre characters that are on these cards, and it's not like the top A or B characters that are on these cards. It's like Galvatron, it's Menasor,
Massey.
Massey.
right?
Wow!
And there are so many of these cards, and I've spent so long trying to collect all these cards, and more keep popping up that a couple years ago I just you know what? I've got a stack of these. I don't need any more of these cards in my life. But these cards all came with a little button. Oh, here's a repeat. Here's a better look at the.
That's the one Dawn has.
Yeah.
Trash can.
Yeah, that's the one. Like I said, it's basically the family home. It's the same poster that Family Home Entertainment used to announce their VHS collection, just without all their added stuff. Okay, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
Shelf Warmer had the perfect quote for the Ultra Magnus divorce card. I can't deal with my wife right now.
Or, I can't deal with you right now.
Yeah.
So this is another item from the UK. This is from Waddington's. This is a board game. Much like every other board game in the 1980s, this one sucks. Here's another Takara board game. I've got a couple of Takara board games, and I don't know how to play any of them because I don't speak Japanese. I can't read the kanji. So
now, Rick, I saw one of those at a BotCon a very long time ago, and it was sealed, and I think it was still taped shut from when it was purchased. I may not be sure on that, but the guy said it was sealed, and he was asking $300 or $400 for it because it was sealed with all the pieces.
that probably makes sense. I think I paid $100 for mine complete. Mine had been open, but it was mint complete. And there's an older version that predates this one too.
Yeah.
This was one of my holy grails for many, many years, and I purchased this back at BotCon 2006, was it? Whenever the Hartman sold their collection. I actually got my pinball machine from the Hartman collection.
Well, it's pinball being slightly generous.
Yeah, it's a tabletop pinball.
Going back to the subject of the board games, though, there's actually some recent ones that are G1 based, like Monopoly, Transformers Monopoly.
Yeah,
that's within the last, I want to say, 10 years or so.
Yeah, but they actually, I thought they had just come out with a new Monopoly game for Transformers that was $1,000. Didn't
I
they?
have not seen that. But I like the fact that with the Transformers Monopoly, when instead of regular Monopoly pieces, they had pewter Transformers characters that you could
Yep.
use, and that's really awesome.
Yeah, they do that. Like Star Wars ones have that too.
Yeah.
Here's another great piece. Giant ball darts. It would come with these 2 balls, and you would just throw the balls at the wall, where you would tape this thing up and
Balls to the wall, man.
balls to the wall.
With the Velcro, the Velcro sticky kind.
You're right, the little Velcro sticky kind that if you pulled the balls off the mat enough, the Velcro, this adhesive that would hold the Velcro to the balls would start to come off.
Yeah.
So eventually, when you threw your balls wouldn't stick.
You know, if you shave enough, that wouldn't be a problem.
Good Lord.
And below here on the bottom, we have the Warren Transformers board game, also terrible. And above, we have the Warren Autobot Activity Center. Now, I've wondered every time I look at this box, whatever happened to that kid?
He doesn't
Where is
look
that
very
kid
happy.
That's on the box. He looks kind of confused. Like,
What the hell
you
is this?
feed me now? May I please have food now?
Well, see, for years,
Where's my Transformers?
you see, for years, I thought this was the Star set. I thought this, I found, but there for a long time, I thought that this was the secret Autobot Transformers Rescue Squad, the mail-in thing that you got from the catalog.
This poor kid.
Yeah, so this is poor kid.
Yeah, he looks like. He's supposed to be on there to help promote this item on the front of the box, and he looks so disinterested and so like, what is this? It's like,
Why am I here?
yeah,
It actually almost like, why did they dress me like boy? I mean, look at the shirt this kid's wearing. I mean, what type of kid wears a shirt like that and then goes and plays Transformers?
it's
That's
a
probably what
button-up
this
shirt.
kid's thinking.
Yeah,
So this, the pieces came inside of this, and the box itself would actually form the base where you would connect all your pieces to create your activity center.
And I'll admit, that's kind of impressive for
It's quite big.
for 80s
That's what she
papercraft
said.
technology. That's technology. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty decent size. I mean, look at the figures on there.
and you got Rodimus Prime standing there, and he's kind of tall, and it's
Yeah.
easily 2 or 3 of him high.
So this is the Stars playset.
Yeah.
Now there's, I think, sorry if I don't remember this right, 3 variants on the Stars playset. There's the American, the UK, and the Japanese. And I think this is the UK one that we're looking at.
But I don't see Thunderclash.
Right. So the Stars playset was another promotion where you send in your robot points and you would get this cardboard playset that you would put together. And I think this is the Takara Stars playset. It's I have the UK and the US one. I don't have the Takara one. And when you're done playing with yourself, you can.
Yeah.
I was an only child, so I played with myself a lot.
Not safe for work here, people.
I'm still an only child. You would go to sleep in your Transformer sleeping bag, which was completely not flame retardant.
Probably 100% polyester.
I love how the Optimus
It
Prime
was
on the front of that. The face doesn't even look anything. It's like too rounded to be Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
This item has great colors on it.
Yeah,
It just kind of pops. And this is the easier to find of the various sleeping bags with the Metroplex on it.
and Triptychon coming down out of the corner. Actually, that one's really nice. I like that one.
Yeah, they must have been using like some early production work or something, because that Triptychon, either the colors are off because it's printed on fabric, but that's a lot lighter colors on Triptychon.
Yeah.
Then,
Well, I mean, look at the Springer. It looks like it's the brown Springer. So
yeah.
Slot cars. I don't think they make slot cars anymore, but like the 80s, like the 70s, I think was like the heyday for slot cars. And then in the 80s, it started dying off. And I don't think they make them anymore. But they made Transformer slot cars, and there were two different ones. They came individually carded, or they came inside the slot car gift set for Transformers. They had the same bodies, but the heads would be different. This one had Prowl's head on it. And then the other one had Rumble's head on it. And even though on the package here for the gift set, they show them in blue and yellow, they never came in blue and yellow. They only came in white and red. And they did glow in the dark because that made them Transformers.
I never had the set, but
that's a tiny picture.
That is a tiny picture.
Yeah. Oh God! The one thing I always wanted and never got.
Train set.
Oh, that train set was incredible.
I remember seeing this in the store and not like understanding it. Like I saw it and I'm like, wow, that looks really big and it's Transformers, but I didn't understand if it was. I'm getting emails. I didn't understand if that was like a character or a playset or what it turned into, and I just can't remember looking at this box in the store and not getting it because I never had a train set as a kid.
Seems like there was one of these at BotCon last year in a really beat up box. Don, do you remember seeing that?
Yes, I did because it's the first time I'd seen one in any shape in a very long time. This is one of those things you kind of wish you had, just because once you got it on how big it was and how kind of impressive it laid out to be. But it's.
So I think the mat folded out to be 4 feet by 5 feet. It was a pretty big mat.
That's about the size of your average pallet.
And it came with several buildings that were papercraft you put together. A power station, a factory, an office building, 2 towers, and then it came with, I think, 30 figures, or maybe 40 figures. There were gray ones and purple and blue ones to signify the Autobots and Decepticons. None of the small figures were actually based off Transformers. They were just generic robots that looked like they came from a different line entirely. So I have 3 of these box sets, and I still don't have a complete one because finding all those little robots is impossible.
Transformers New Fan, she posted on here, Rick, I want your thoughts on this. She thinks Hasbro is missing the mark currently with the licensing on the movie toys. I see that the 80s toys use supporting characters, example, Skywarp, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, etc., whereas now it's only Optimus B and maybe Megatron.
Well, a lot of that has to do with the style guides. Most style guides have 4 characters in it. And it's going to be Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, Bumblebee. The movie style guides, we had 2 different style guides when I worked at Hasbro. We had a G1 style guide, which had those 4 characters, and I think it also had Devastator in it, and Soundwave. And then there was the movie style guides, which had, I'm thinking back to the Revenge of the Fallen style guide, and I think it had every character in it except the RCs, the twins as the ice cream truck. But it had all the other characters and the individual Devastator pieces. Now, it had Devastator combined. But, I mean, it's not up to Hasbro. What they choose goes on the packaging. They just have to sign off on it. The only time I can ever hear I've ever heard of a licensed good being shot down was my very first week at Hasbro, where somebody presented 2-foot-tall speakers, and they were in the shape of Megatron. And someone said, no, that absolutely makes no sense. If you're going to make speakers, you should make them Soundwave. The licensor didn't want to do that, so the speakers never came out.
Now, for those who don't don't understand what you mean. Explain what a style guide is.
All right, so style guide is basically nowadays it's a DVD set. It comes in a little box. It has a DVD, which you can pull all the high resolution images of the character art for you to print something on. So every time you see all those keychains for the last night, or a lunchbox, or a backpack, all those images came from a style guide, which was provided to that company by Hasbro. The style guide has a little booklet in it, and it breaks down all the characters. It talks about the characters, and then the style guide not only has the images, but it has fonts, it has logos, it has the faction symbols, it has the Transformers alphabet inside of it, so you can make words or place random letters together to make it look like a word. So that is what a style guide in today's modern age is. And sometimes you'll find some of those available online.
Now, one thing though, Rick, back then with Transformers, even your secondary characters to a degree got a little bit of depth or exposure at nothing. I mean, unless you're Skids, and then nobody loves Skids because he got like 2 lines in the entire thing. But with the movie,
he became a chair.
Yeah, he became a chair. IKEA loved him then. Well, you know, where's our IKEA Skids chair? But we never, with the movies, the secondary characters are so non-developed. Other than just their image being something nice to look at, they're not really characters to some degree. I mean, you know, everybody
that's just
has
poor storytelling, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, why would you want? I mean, I'm just thinking, why would you? Because those 4 characters seem to get the bulk share of what limited character development, or at least character representation, there is. So why would you throw, say, Crosshairs, who might have a good-looking design? His toy sucks. He had no characterization past he's a jerk. So why throw him on a bunch of licensed products that nobody cares about? I mean, do you think that's kind of probably a reason as well?
These things are often made months and months before the film is ever seen by anyone. So I think what tends to happen is the licensor will look at the style guide, and it'll explain these are your top characters. And if you want to make money, who are you going to go with? You're going to go with your top characters.
Right.
The style guide provides images of all those guys: Barricade, the Twins, Sideswipe, Ironhide, Ratchet. But I mean, if they're not your top tier characters, I mean, how many kids go to the store and say, "Oh, I want that Ratchet backpack"? No, they're going to want the Optimus backpack.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, movie goods have become very repetitive, and it's a big reason why I stopped purchasing movie licensed goods, because it's all. I mean,
it's not. It's not as unique.
Image can I have?
Yeah, it's not as unique as like vintage,
right?
G1 stuff is.
So,
although as we've
item.
established, though, Jazz is on a lot of freaking packages.
Yeah. This is a crazy G1 item. This is a 45 record size carrying case.
Wow.
Records came in various sizes. It seems that for kids, most kids' records came in 45. That was the size of the record. It's called a 45.
Duran, I think you'll like my comment. I just put it in the in the chat. Pretty much pertains to Bumblebee, but continue on. Sorry about that.
I don't know how much time we'll have left. We'll power through some of these. Ding dong, do not disturb. That's kind of something. That's kind of interesting sign to have on a door chime. Do not disturb. That's like, why would you put that on your door chime? Anyway, it's a wheeljack door chime. I mean, go figure.
I think Brett got that recently.
Yeah.
The hell?
So, Sandbot. There are 2 versions of Sandbot. There is this version of Sandbot, and then there is a version of Sandbot with a red chest and a blue helmet. This becomes a bucket,
It's got some sand toys. The chest is a tray. It's fun. You go to the beach, you have fun with it. Tech specometer 11, because tech specometer 1 through 10 just didn't work.
I have never seen this before in my life.
I don't even know what the hell this is, but I'm intrigued.
This is a more common item.
I've never seen this before.
Now, Transformers came with tech specs, but this is not something that actually reads the tech specs off the back of your Transformers packaging. This is it's got a whistle in it. It's got a compass. It's got a reflector in it, a tape measure. So I think they were just taking the name tech spec and just branding it in a different way that didn't make sense.
Oh, I am disappointed.
You're squeezing blow
Oh, Duran's going to have something dirty.
Squeeze and blow, huh?
When you want to squeeze, here you can either squeeze or you can blow Optimus.
Okay.
No.
And for those of you listening, it's a bubble pipe. Similar,
Right.
You know.
So you take the Optimus Prime head off,
But it is
And then
called
you
Squeeze
blow.
and Blow.
and bubbles come out. But this is a carded example that we're showing here, and it says squeeze and blow. And it's Optimus Prime, and it's got a picture of a young Duran there with hair.
Actually, it does kind of look like me as a young kid. But I'm surprised. I would think that something like that, named that, would not get by in today's society.
Oh,
Just-
heavens.
No.
Heavens.
Yeah, it was a different time, you know.
Yeah.
People were more innocent. This is another thing I'm looking for. This is the Transformers toothbrush. Look at that vintage KB toy sticker on it.
And it's obviously aimed at the Kentucky market because it's not teeth brush, it's the toothbrush.
And we just lost the entire state. Thank you, Dan.
Well, I'm
So-
there, so you're going to have at least one
Before-
listener.
Yes.
Before CDs, we had tapes and we had records. And soundtracks were released on records. And now vinyl is making a huge comeback.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the original soundtrack on vinyl.
Is that not
Right,
a recent release, or is that a vintage
No, this
one?
is the original release.
Yes. Because the recent one was in translucent blue, right?
There were 4 different slipcovers for the new one. So, and they were all $50. So, yeah, guess who has them?
I got one quick. I know we're going to try to wrap up. I got one quick story. When I was in college at UNC Wilmington, there was a comic book shop called Memory Lane Comics. I had gone there for over 2 years, completing my term in college. And the last time I visited to clean out my box and cancel my subscription, I had some time to kill, so I went through their record selection. I found the Transformers movie set, that same vinyl soundtrack, for $2 in the record bin. It had been there the entire time. He said, "That thing's been here as long as you've been coming to the store." I just never went through the records to look. So for 2 years, that thing was sitting there in the bin, and no one bought it until I did.
Need to go to a record store just see if I can find it.
Yeah.
I don't even have a record player. I just want it.
This is a very flammable tent, polyester, that you would put on your small twin-size bed.
To go to
very
your
flammable
flammable sleeping bag.
Right. This is your the UK version, which is I'm on the hunt for. So it's interesting to see that the art, they made new art for it, but it's art based off the toy. And here's the North American one,
I want to say this one.
which I had as a kid, and I still have it. The Sleep and Hide tent.
Do you actually use it from time to time, Rick?
I think last time I used it, I was 12 or 13. Yeah, I'm 38 now.
Start to say, last time you used it, your daughter was born 9 months later.
Yeah, I am going to set this up once I unpack it. I've got a couple of these. I'm going to set them up for my kids to sleep in.
Oh, no. Transformers new fan says there's vibrators with Autobot symbols on them.
No.
Yeah, but those aren't licensed.
We're talking
Mostly
about official licensed things here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not something you're all shook up about.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Little model kits from Japan. These would be gumball kits.
Kind of look like decoys.
They kind of look like they're about the same size as decoys, maybe a little bit taller.
Hopefully the gun was better than what's in the Kabaya kits.
You would either these would either come in little eggs that you would put your quarter in, turn the thing, and the egg would spit out. And I think these are actually bootlegs of the official ones, but these are model kits in the Kabaya style. Again, trading cards, all the different art on it. Right, the trading cards.
I love those things. Zone.
No, that's not Zone.
That's not Zone.
That's not Zone. No.
Scramble City.
No. This was a collection of the clip show episode.
Oh yeah, the one that came out at the end of
Headmasters.
Yeah.
There's that cookie jar again.
I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm surprised there are no modern cookie jars for the Transformers line.
I love that one.
I mean, I've got tons of stuff from the new, from the last couple of years. I've got a bowling ball. I've got pins. But there's no like modern day cookie jar. I thought someone would have jumped on that, or like mugs in the. There are mugs, but they're movie mugs. Yeah,
these would be interesting as Headmasters.
Anyway, so that's it. I'm gonna stop screen sharing now. So go away.
Go away. Yeah. I want to open up the floor to anybody, any of our listeners, that if you have any knickknacks or licensed goods like we've talked about here on the show, maybe we did talk about them on the show, or even if we didn't, post them in our Facebook group on facebook.com/groups/TFYLP. There should be a thread going by the time, probably right after we get off the air here. I will upload the pictures that Rick was scrolling through here in his presentation in a thread on there for you. If you're listening to the audio version, and this is the end of the episode, and if you missed it at the beginning, shame on you. But if you're wondering about the images that we were talking about, they are going to be on the Facebook group for you to view. And I think, in retrospect, I may put them on the website and link them somehow. That way they're easier to find if you download the episode much later. That'd be kind of cool. So, kind of look for them on the website, too, eventually. But I'd like to see anybody, if you have any knickknacks just lying around, that especially vintage ones that maybe we haven't talked about on the show or haven't seen before, post them on the Facebook group. We'd love to hear and see from you. Any of you guys have any closing thoughts tonight?
No. Just it was fun taking a jog back down retro memory lane.
Yeah, I just want to hear from people if they want more like shows like this.
Feedback is always good. We love to do. We want to do what the fans look for and are entertained by and informed by. So if you enjoy these types of shows, please let us know. Seemed like there was something else I was going to bring up.
Nudes.
What's that?
Don't. Well, Rick suggested something vulgar and obscene.
I said send nudes.
No, don't send nudes. Don't send nudes.
No.
Don's email
send
address.
all your nude pictures of yourself. Our listeners.
To Don.
We're on land.
I was going to just remind everybody, don't forget Monday is the 24th, which is the big drop date for Transformers, the movie product.
Yes. So.
And remember, Voyagers are only $30.
Yeah.
And the lenses are only $20.
And most of you already have the figures already, just with less paint.
Depaints.
They're depainted.
They're deep paints.
They're depaints of the figures that are coming out. But you know, these types of shows we do simply for especially for the people that you know, that are older like us, that want to remember things or couldn't remember things that came out years and years ago. I mean, there's some of those items I've never seen before, and I've been a fan since '84. Some of them I actually have, and also, you know, for the fans that are relatively new, like Jack, you know, you know, there's items that, you know, it just shows you how diverse this brand, this franchise is. I mean, it permeates all of pop culture. You know, I mean, you can go to a dollar store, a gas station, you can find something with Transformers on it. I'm pretty sure. They're everywhere, and that's pretty cool. You know, I mean, not every franchise is like that. I think there's only a handful that really are. You know, you can think of like Star Wars, maybe Star Trek, maybe not as much Star Trek, but Star Wars is probably the number one thing.
Marvel stuff.
Yeah, Marvel stuff. And then you got Transformers that's out there. I mean, it just really goes to show you how permeated out there into the just little knick-knack realms. I mean, hell, stamp rollers. I mean, things that are not like everyday useful or anything. Just they just exist because they're cool. Really neat stuff. So without further ado, if any of you guys had any other closing thoughts, I want to remind everybody, follow us on Twitter at TFYLP. I've mentioned our Facebook group. Also our sponsors, it's on the screen over here, Captured Prey and Mega Toy Fan. Check those guys out. Lots of great stuff. And also our Patreon page. I want to thank everybody that continues to support us each month. And we thank you ever so much. So we will see you next time on TFYLP. I'm Deron Land with Headmaster Don, Jack.
Have a good night, everybody.
And Rick.
Here.
We'll see you, everybody. Good night, everyone.
They're all.
Nighty-night.
So this girl, right? She was just like
Or not.
begging me to lick her.